Welcome back to the Ben Willett Team Real Estate Referral Spotlight. Today I am joined by David Hickey of United Better Homes, a leading solar and construction company in New England. David, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Ben.
Absolutely. So David, you and I go back a long time, first as friends at Portsmouth High School, then as colleagues at the Newport Folk Festival, and then actually roommates for a period of time here in Newport. Good times, as always.
Very fun period of time, absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us today. I've enjoyed watching your career grow. And when we were roommates, you were studying at URI for kinesiology and thought you were going to go into a career of physical therapy, things like that. And now I know you have a successful career as a solar salesperson and consultant. Tell us a little bit about your journey to creating the career in solar and kind of what led you to that path.
Yeah, well, just like you said, I started my career, originally pursuing physical therapy, so I got my degree in kinesiology, and the way I paid for my education was always working with my hands, so I'm sure you recall, I used to be a mason for a period of time, and that's how I kind of made ends meet. So a couple years back, that ends meet was finding myself installing solar on the roof, and that's where I started to fall in love with the product because I could start talking to the customer and see that when you have an opportune site, there's a massive amount of benefit for it. And I just felt that my feet would be better on the ground than on the roofs. And that's initially how I started. And once I started going with it, I fell in love with it. Just the relation to build with people, because at the end of the day, you really are helping them out. I can't walk away from a client and put them in a worse financial situation. I can only improve whatever I come across.
Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. And for those of us that don't understand or don't know yet about United Better Homes, what is the services you guys provide and what led you to start working with them?
So United Better Homes is a general contractor. We do roofing, siding, windows, doors, and solar. So I'm the district manager of the solar division. We operate out of Attleboro. We have offices spread in and around Massachusetts and Rhode Island.
Awesome. And you are focused primarily on the solar, is that correct?
Yes, yep. I'm the district manager of the solar division.
So what does your day-to-day business kind of look like in that role?
So it starts at 7 in the morning. People are not hesitant to call when they want to check in on how their project's going. And also, I have about 30 reps underneath me that every single fire that pops up that day, I'm responsible for putting out. So it usually starts early in the morning in the office, getting everything together, helping people out for a period of time with their accounts, and then the afternoon till about 9 to 10 o'clock at night, I'm in the field, meeting people at home and just running appointments.
Awesome. That sounds like a busy day, but I know that you are the type of personality that really enjoys going after and getting it after it. As a salesperson, as a fellow salesperson myself, I know that you don't just step into the business and know everything about it. Through experience, you learn a lot. What has kind of been your secret to success with growing through the company and having success working with your clients?
So the secret to success is just transparency with my customers. It's definitely a decision that people are a little hesitant to take that first step, especially when it's not explained to them correctly, because if you do one bad job, you're going to tell 10 friends. If you do one good job, they're going to tell one friend. And unfortunately, I can't speak for the credibility of other companies. I can only talk about what we do, and that's the unfortunate part of the industry is there are some instances where it wasn't explained correctly, the customer wasn't given full comprehension of what they were walking into, and obviously that leads to a dissatisfied customer. So whenever I sit down with somebody, I show them the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that goes behind the proposal, so they have all the knowledge when they're making the decision. At the end of the day, I like to sleep at night. I'm not there to twist your arm or push you over to the fence, but generally, when I sit down with people and I explain things, I can remove most of their reservations and allow them to at least get the property surveyed and look forward to seeing if it's even possible to get solar installed on the property.
And now I can speak to that as well. You actually did a proposal for me on my property. I appreciate that.
No problem.
It was a very thorough, very professional job. I also know that you've very successfully done it for other mutual friends of ours who've been very satisfied. That you said that audit might not work for somebody. It actually didn't work for my building because I'm in a condo and I have 3 other property owners that also make that decision, and they decided they didn't want the solar panels on the front of the building that was visible. They were open to it on the back, but based on the sun and everything that goes into the performance of the systems, it just didn't work out with their criteria. What are some of the challenges or some of the hurdles that you are looking for to make sure that a system it qualifies for that prospective client?
So the three major qualifying factors are the condition of the roof, the status of the electric and service in the house, and then the structural reinforcement behind the roof. So a lot of times we'll walk into properties that initially look really good, and after we perform the site assessment, we'll catch a bunch of stuff, and unfortunately it does disqualify them. Lately, the biggest problem we've been having is transformer disqualifications. So a lot of people don't recognize that solar is a limited option. There's only so many people who can go solar tied to one transformer. So ultimately what we do in review is we review the house and we apply to the utilities to see if the project is feasible. Ultimately, the utility has the final say. So if you have multiple houses on a street and a few have already gone solar, they're occupying space on that transformer, and the likelihood that you'll be disqualified from applying just increases.
So get it now is what you're saying.
Get it now, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
it's I'm not here to twist your arm, but I give you all the facts.
Yes.
And that usually spurs people because the incentives only get worse as time goes on. So they're there to propel the state to its renewable energy goals.
Yep.
As they get closer to accomplishing them, there's less incentive just because, the Public Utility Commissioner, he just released these price hikes. Did you see the 24% one that just went into effect this October?
That was something I was going to ask you about. I see in the news all the time the rising utility costs, electric costs, obviously the benefits of renewable energy and everything like that. I'm sure that's kind of a hot button topic right now, and something that you can help people with.
It is. So historically we never really saw rates increase in this fashion, but the Public Utility Commissioner just released saying that for the next 3 to 5 years these increases are to be expected. Mm-hmm. So as it stands, Rhode Island doesn't really have enough power, and that's why your delivery portion is getting so egregious, is because we have to go further and further away to source that power. Now we have their incentives pushing more electric vehicles. Believe it or not, they're going to ban the sale of gas-powered lawn equipment and then prohibit its use about 2 years after the fact. So the situation we find ourselves in is we don't have enough power, and that's why it's becoming expensive, but we're also being forced to use more power, which is also
Right.
going to make it more expensive moving
I'm also
forward.
seeing, I drive by and I'm seeing like new development all the time for, massive solar fields on Aquidneck Island and throughout the state of people investing into the infrastructure to put up solar. So, clearly there's a need for it. And if people have the ability to make money on it on their own property, it seems like a pretty good idea. What do you say is the biggest advantage, when you're talking to people in their homes about adding solar?
So it really is, there's two options to go solar, and it's as simple as you either buy the panels and you get the power for free, or you get the panels for free and you buy the power. So every home's different and everybody's situation is different. So depending on how long they've been there, how long they plan to be there, different arrangements may make more sense. When you're purchasing it, it's an investment and avoided cost, because that's a necessity, probably top 3 that you consume every single day of your life. And you have no option to make that cheaper because, you're probably finding the cheapest supplier and keeping your bill as low as you can. But even those low options, they're still really expensive. Right. So looking at something you have to buy, it makes a lot more sense to pay less for that commodity.
So, you told me a lot about, what goes into making that decision and kind of the procedure of making, of finding out if it works for each property. Tell me a little bit about when it does work, what is the difference between United Better Homes and all the other companies out there?
I'm happy you asked that question. It's actually why I'm with the company I am now. When I started my career, I was at Sunrun, and don't get me wrong, they're a great company, but when I found United Better Homes, I was just shocked by, it's really the customer care, the timelines they get things done, and the quality of the equipment they use. So typical solar companies, the standard roof penetration warranty is about 10 years, which didn't make a lot of sense to us considering that project's going to be on your roof for about 30 years accurately.
Right.
So we have a 30-year roof penetration and total system warranty that is head and shoulders above any other solar company you'll ever speak to, I can guarantee it. And on top of that, we're also a Master Elite GAF roofer. So there's only 4 of those in the state.
Okay.
Under 1% of contractors in the nation hold that license, and it simply means that we're the best at what we do when it comes to roofs. And I always thought of the roof as the foundation for the solar system. So when you have a company that does both to the highest standard, we're really selling peace of mind with both products.
That makes a ton of sense. I know my parents currently have solar. They did it several years ago, and they had, they got a GC that had hired out a different roofing company, and so far it's been all good, but that's definitely a peace of mind knowing that the company that is supplying the panels and is giving you the warranty also stands by their job on the roofing project as well.
100%. And, I can never look anybody in the eye and say nothing goes wrong in the construction industry. But what I can look you in the eye and tell you is that when things go wrong, there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah,
We're there
one call.
to fix it.
Yeah.
Usually within the same day, I've had calls be serviced within 20 minutes. So that was really what drew me to the company, is just they made my job easier by making my customers' lives easier, and we're really there. We pride ourselves on our integrity, and we have 20 years of immaculate reviews to back us up as well.
So it sounds like you work hard, you enjoy your job. What is your favorite part about your career in this industry, and where do you see the industry going 5-10 years down the road?
So my favorite part of the job really is just making all the connections I get to that otherwise in a traditional role I wouldn't, because I'm all over Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, even up into Maine and New Hampshire, and it's really rewarding to meet so many people who, when you go in them and do them a favor they didn't even know was available, you just build relationships and networks, and the world kind of opens up for you.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely very lucky, because at the end of the day, I'm really just selling savings, which is the easiest thing in the world.
Education's everything, and in my business as well. Everybody I've kind of spoken to, that is, what customers don't know, they don't know. So like, if by somebody coming in and educating them and giving them options, whether it's how to price a house, how to get your home ready for sale, or how to save money on energy, is a huge value to provide to people, and definitely makes it worthwhile to see them benefit from the knowledge that you have.
Yeah.
So David, I really appreciate you coming in, sharing your knowledge with us, introducing us more to your company, and doing the world a favor by eliminating some fossil fuels and putting your clients and the consumer in a better position on their energy bills. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for
Appreciate your
having me.
time and joining the Ben Willett Team Referral Spotlight, and we'll see you next time.